I'm Louise Fletcher and I help artists to find their own unique creative voice. Have you ever felt like a giant fraud? Have you ever felt like someday everyone's going to find out that I'm not really very good at this art thing? Someday everyone's going to find out that the only good things I make happen by accident? Well, so do I. And I'm just having that feeling at the moment, and I thought I would come on and talk to you about it. Because you might think that people who have seemingly, successful art careers, who you follow on Instagram or watch on YouTube or follow their demos, you might think that those people just have supreme confidence, have everything figured out, and never have any nagging doubts. And I've spoken to many, many of those artists, and I can tell you that I've not met one yet who doesn't sometimes feel like an imposter, who doesn't sometimes feel like a fraud, and who doesn't sometimes doubt that they can ever make a good painting again. And I'm talking about people who've exhibited for years, people in top galleries, people whose names you would recognize. We all have this nagging feeling. And you know what? It's not surprising. We're doing something that nobody's ever done before. We're creating paintings that have never existed before. There's no roadmap, there's no rules, there's no guidelines to follow. When we realise that, it can be really freeing, but it can also be quite destabilising and a little bit frightening. So you mean there's nobody who can answer my question on how to do the thing I want to do? There's no one I can go to say, how do I get the perfect colours to convey this particular emotion? Or what would be the ideal brush marks to get across this feeling? Or how do I perfectly capture this likeness? I mean, sure, you can get tips and tricks and you can get demos from other people, but you really have to answer all these questions for yourself. And so therefore, we're all swimming in a sea of unknowing. And so of course, we're sometimes going to feel like we just completely lost. The paintings are not going well. Or if you're a writer, or the novel's not going well. Or if you're a songwriter, the music's not going well. Nothing's coming out the way you hoped it would. Everything's looking a bit average. And you just think, that means I'm average. That means there's no point to what I'm doing. So if we all have that feeling, what can you do about it? Well, yes, I have that feeling, but no, I don't take it very seriously. And I think that is the difference between someone who gets really down, demotivated, even gives up, and those of us who just keep going day after day after day. Some of us don't take that feeling seriously because we know it's an illusion. I mean, in some ways it's true. We don't know what we're doing. If we're making art, we're striking out on a path that we haven't gone on before. We're trying to do things we haven't done before. So in that sense, we don't know what we're doing. But we know that neither does anyone else. We know that's the point. We know that's why we're doing it. I could go back to making nice abstract landscapes that did very well for me, and I know how to do that. And sometimes when I want a little bit of kind of comfort food, I'll do that. But mostly I'm interested in pushing somewhere new. So that's going to mean some discomfort. That's going to mean living with that feeling. So the key is not to beat the feeling of being a fraud. The key is just to live with it. It's just to go, oh, there you are again. That feeling of imposter syndrome, that feeling that everyone's going to find me out sooner or later, that actually I'm no good. You can come and sit with me while I keep creating, but you don't get to dictate what I do. And I'm not really going to pay you that much attention. Because when we don't feed it, it diminishes. If we feed it by constantly reviewing it, going over it, looking for evidence that we're not useless, trying to prove to ourselves that we have talent, or on the other hand, just beating ourselves up, making it worse. Yes, you're right. Look at all this proof that I don't have talent. Look at that guy who commented on my Facebook page 3 weeks ago and said everything I did was crap. Either way, whether you try and fight it or whether you try and agree with it, you're feeding it, and you mustn't feed it. You must just let it be, and you must focus on just creating. In a way, maybe this is controversial, I think we're all frauds, and none of us are frauds, because in the sense that we don't know what we're doing, but we're not trying to pretend that we do. We're figuring it out, right? We're going into our studio and working it out. That is literally, to me, the definition of an artist. So while I wouldn't say I'm comfortable feeling like a fraud, I would say it's familiar and I'm okay with it. I tolerate it. I accept it as part of what I'm doing, and I don't feed it. Today, I tried to make collage papers. I made mostly ones that don't look great. Tomorrow, I'll come in with a fresh mindset. It's a different day. I'll have a different creative energy, and everything might be different. So if you're having a down day or feeling like an imposter, I hope you stumbled across this video, and I hope it makes you feel a little bit better. See you next time.